All right, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Monday, July 10th, 2023. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. Anyways, let's get into it here today. So we are post-holiday, and volume's still light here. Now we do have the CPI report coming up soon. That will be on Wednesday. Last several CPI reports have been kind of nothing burgers, but we did have some kind of data last week, right? The ADP number was like scorching hot. Then the NFP number came in, a little bit later than expected, more of a Goldilocks type number. So it does look like the market's getting a little bit more focused in on that CPI. You did see the VIX up a little bit, so maybe some hedging going on into that. Up 1.82%, it is off the highs here, but there may be some hedging going on ahead of that. But either way here for today, really just a 4,400 pin there on the SPX. And right now, 20 moving average is holding on the daily. So really, like I said on Friday, not a whole lot to really be worried about here unless we take out this moving average. If you take that out and you get below this pivot, then you get down to this trend line here. And into that 50 moving average, a bigger correction would take you to the yellow line. Pretty simple there, but big story on the day. We'd have some data out of China. Their economy is slowing faster than expected, so not good there. But bigger stuff going on here. Tech rebalancing. So they're finally going to kind of curb this Magnificent Seven, at least in the weightings. Now, I think this should have been done a long time ago, and it's probably too little too late here, but it is getting done. So you're seeing the Qs here down. Really the only index that is red today. Spiders are flat to positive, Dow up 0.5%, Russell up nicely here, getting a good bid. And you're seeing Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, Amazon all down. Meta's the only one that's green. If I told you on any day over the last couple of weeks that all those stocks were down, you'd think that the market would be down 1%, 2% easily. But that's not the case. So what I've been saying here lately is we've got to get, if the market wants to move higher, it's got to come from somewhere other than the Magnificent Seven. It's got to come from, these other sectors. You're just too extended still on the weekly. Now it is catching up here. You're at 333 as opposed to 330 last week on the 20 moving average there. But again, you're into a lot of resistance with those pivots. That's why we've stalled out here. You look at the 7.5 retrace from the all-time high. So right there as well. So lots of resistance there. It's got to come from other sectors. We look at equal weight Qs. That's green today. RSP, equal weight spiders is green. Russell up 1.5. That's taking some leadership. XLI up 1.3. XLE, that's having a nice day, up 64 basis points. XLF up 1/3%. XHB has been strong, but that's up as well. VNQ is green. So we're seeing some of those laggard sectors start to pick it up. XLV having a bounce. And that is kind of what the market's going to need to do if we're going to push higher. So right now, still just kind of a flat day, all things considered outside of the Russell. So let's not make too much out of it here, but we're holding trend. If we do push up, again, we know the target is around that 450 handle. We have the 7.5 retrace there on the spiders at 447, 448, and then right into that little pivot high there. That should be resistance, but not a terrible pullback pattern here for the SPY. If we do start to break down, again, pretty simple there. Let's go back to the SPX. So I have those lines drawn. Nice trend line right there. Again, 50-day moving average coinciding with that. That's often the case, by the way. And if you get through that, the bigger correction would take you down here. So again, that's up sloping, but there's support at 4,200 and of course, 4,150, etc. But those are levels we're watching for right now. And it seems like right now to me will probably be neutral to the same kind of thing, flat to positive, flat to negative tomorrow, as we wait for that CPI number. A hot CPI, just so we can lay this out, if it is hot, again, keep an eye on the 2-year yield. It is backing off a little bit today. That's helping out the markets here, but still holding trend, just like the spiders, right? So we're holding that 20 moving average. You break above this pivot high, or really just above 5.08, you can see some turbulence in the markets. If we start to head lower, one thing I'll be watching here is those yield curves. We're starting to uninvert. Well, I shouldn't say that quite yet. We're trending in the right direction for an uninversion. 2s and 10s getting a nice spike there. 3-month 10-year still, you know, it's coming off the lows, but nowhere near there yet. 5s and 30s getting a nice pop. And then 10s and 30s also getting a nice pop. Historically, too, the uninversion of the yield curve is generally the shit at the fan scenario. Again, we're all just getting ahead of ourselves here. We're not there yet, but just something to keep an eye on if and when that happens. But those are things we can look for. Obviously, the market kind of wants a Goldilocks number for CPI. But anyways, let's get into some other sectors here. Again, triple Qs, holding trend. Microsoft, one thing I'm watching, I did point this out on Apple. We did hit that head and shoulder target. I talked about that a week ago. We pulled back. We're still holding trend. If you break this 20 moving average is down to 180. Microsoft, I'm watching very intently here under the close. We're 15 minutes left. And it doesn't look like they're going to save this. Let's try and get this exact just because I want to be sure on this. Because you do have a little head and shoulder here on Microsoft. And that looks like it's going to trigger unless they power bid this in the next 15 minutes. That can take you down. I'm gonna say 305 to 310. Okay, so that's your support there on Microsoft. We'll just put it right there if it triggers. But yeah, nice little mini head and shoulders there. Now that can get negated tomorrow. It's a daily chart pattern. Volume is light. We're getting into the summer doldrum period. You know, we don't have any more days off until Labor Day, so we could get into summer doldrum. But watch that. You know, if that confirms, that could take you down there. And again, like we said, big tech. You know, Tesla down 2%. You know, Amazon, yeah, down 2% as well. So again, coming out of the big tech names here and other sectors getting a rally here. But QQQ, if it does break down or, you know, start to lose this pivot here, lose 360, you got that trend line there, and that kind of coincides with that same level on the spiders and that 50-day moving average. Just some support at 350 as well. All right, anyways, let's get over here to the Dow. Dow holding up nicely today, up 0.5% exactly. Nothing's changed here. Still have a little kind of mini little M pattern there at the top. Still have a lot of resistance at 343 to 345. If you start to lose this level, then it's 331.45 for support. IWM, again, nothing's changed. We're still looking for 192, maybe even 193 at this point. We'll watch that here, but nice little pullback pattern, higher low. If you take these levels out, should go up to this pivot here. So nothing has changed on the Russell. Semi is getting a little bit of a bid here, up 1.1%, despite NVIDIA being down 1.2 and AMD being down. So again, market leaders, the generals, the usual suspects are not doing the leading today. Take a look at KLA, 10 core, Applied Materials, Intel. So you're seeing the other ones start to pick up the pace a little bit. This is still a valid head and shoulder pattern, is not triggered yet though either. So again, that could be something to watch. You know, it still has to trigger though, so just keep that on your radar. But it's holding up for now. IGV, nice outside day, up 1.5%. That's having a decent day, and that's despite Microsoft being down. Microsoft makes up the biggest weighting in IGV. Oracle down as well, but you know, Adobe up nicely, Salesforce up nicely. That's going to help it out. Palo Alto, Flats. Let's take a look at Net up, you know, almost 5%. ServiceNow up 2%. So some of the other names starting to get some rotation here and acting a little bit better. IGV still has a lot of resistance at 355 though. All right, transports here, that's holding up as well and through that level. So we'll see, that has a chance to confirm that tomorrow with a secondary close. You'll have some supply right here at, you know, 15.9, but nice move there for the DJT. You have some resistance as well with that red bar. Pretty good reversal bar there, but transport's having a nice move. I believe airlines have earnings this, if I'm not mistaken, they start Thursday, Friday with the banks. So something to keep an eye on. I know that it's usually like UAL and Delta that report first, but that obviously will be market moving for the transports here, but it's holding up now. So we'll watch that level tomorrow. If you get a confirmation above that, then you can go and test that little double top there. All right, rates we already talked about a little bit, but 10-year, again, pulling back, nothing terrible there. Still, we went into this little pivot. If this consolidates, it's going to go higher. 30-year, that's actually green, up 22 basis points on the TYX. And you're still, you know, hanging around near this pivot. Again, if this pulls back and flags, it's going higher, up to 4.2 would be your next level. XHB up 2.5, so continues to be a powerhouse. That can go higher. ITB can go higher as well, no problems. VNQ it's trying to consolidate here. You got the higher lows. I like that. Higher lows with slight higher highs. You know, this may have some upside here. So we'll say, for a while I was saying 86, but we've done enough consolidation. We could probably go test 87, 87.50 if if we can finally confirm above 84, which you have never done. So still under pressure here, but it's looking a little bit better. Still has to do a lot of proving though. XLF, we talked about, that's still up 0.25%. Nothing terrible right now. I just don't like the weekly chart. The only financial I would own is JP Morgan, KRE, still weak. Still has not triggered that head and shoulders, but still not a good chart. KBE, same thing. Broker dealers here holding up okay. If that gets through 480, that can still go to 490. On to crude. Stalling out at the 100 moving average. This is still in a range above 75. You can get to 76, 77. Below that, down to 64. That has not changed one bit. XLE having a nice day. I still don't love the weekly. You're still inside of that red. You can improve that by getting above 82.72 on a weekly close, but for right now, still in a trading range. XOP looking a little bit better though. Oil and gas exploration. We went through this trend line, back tested it, got a pop, and now just an inside day. If that flags, I can get to 130. Let's just call it 135 there. So that's holding up a little bit better. Still not totally convinced it's out of the woods, but it's shaping up. One that is out of the woods is OIH. OIH had a super power charged move on Friday. Schlumberger doing deal with the Petrobras. OIH here. This isn't a resistance though. So big red bar. This is your bull flag on the weekly. It failed. A lot of resistance there. Okay, a lot of bags that bought here thinking it was going to break out. They should turn into sellers. But if you get weekly consolidation, this could be a buy. So we'll be watching OIH moving forward, but nice power move. And those levels I gave you guys worked out really well. I said 280, it's got to get above 280. We did. And then I said you got to close above 292.82. We did that. So OIH holding up well. Nat gas, nice bounce back from Friday, up 3.25. It's holding that 20 moving average. That looks like it's set up for a run at $3. No problems there. Dollar index continuing to languish. So DXY here, back below 102. I'm looking for, I'll say 101.75, 101.60 should be decent support here for the dollar in the short term. But again, watch that weekly. So we had that nice, I tried to firm up the last 2 weeks, but we were inside of that big red bar, and it did, tend to push down. I'm not touching the dollar right now. I don't know what it wants to do. Maybe if it pierces 100, I'd be interested, but right now it's a little bit of ways away from there. So I'm not touching it at the moment, but I did come back in a little bit today. Gold not really doing a whole lot though. It's basically flat. So gold not really getting help from the weak dollar. That tells me it's still soft. I still think it needs to go to 1850, but if you get back above 1950, then it can push higher. But right now, still kind of neutral on that. Silver having a decent day. That, again, still resistance at 2350. That may get to 24. I still think it wants to go down to 21. Platinum getting a nice pop here. Maybe that can go back test 960, but you got to get through that 20 moving average first. Then it will have one more leg lower if it rejects there. Palladium testing 1200 again, coming off the lows. What I'm watching here is this big falling wedge here, and we're going to look on we got to go way out. So weekly, watch that. Definitely interested in palladium. We was interested around the 618, never got in on that, just never gave me a pattern here. But could give you a little falling wedge, especially if you get like a capitulation type move straight down. There is a lot of support here with this big breakout. So we're not that far away. One more good flush on palladium could get you into an attractive level there. So I'm watching that moving forward. But it did come off the lows here today, so we'll give it that. And then copper here, just flat to positive, nothing crazy. Still looking for 340 there. All right, Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin really just kind of, it's getting a little bit of bid right now, but maybe it's starting. Take a look at Riot, up another 8% today. I took profits above 15 on that on Friday. That's continuing to run. That succeeded my target. Marathon up, Hut, Hive, MSTR. These are all acting really well. Are they just front running Bitcoin, or is Bitcoin actually going to run? Are they offsides? Are they telling us something? I'm not sure yet, but I can say that pattern is still good for a move to 32.5 to 33,000. So no problems there. With Bitcoin, it's holding up just fine. And maybe you're starting to get that bid right now. You're curling up to that 20 moving average, and it's getting a little bit of a pop. I'm seeing the futures right now getting a bid above 31,000 now. This chart's a little bit delayed. Ether, that can still get to 2,000 to 2,000, we'll say 2015, 2020. That's holding up, but Bitcoin's really the lead dog right now. And the Bitcoin equities are confirming it, so we'll give it that upside. bias for now. Anyways, back over to the spiders here. Again, stuck in this little range. Should close right around 4,400 SPX. Tomorrow, I wouldn't expect too much here. And then obviously it's onto that CPI number. That will tell us a lot more about what the Fed wants to do and how the market is going to react. Anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com and talk to you guys all tomorrow.